What's up, everybody? How is it going? Bobbit, it's all about you, big guy.
All right, so we're ready to go.
Yep, go ahead.
Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling. Now with 50% less algae.
I have no idea what the fuck that was all about. Don't do that shit unless you pass it with me first. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. It's your
Uh,
show.
as always, on the call tonight, we've got JP and Heather. How are y'all tonight?
We are doing good. It's actually been really kind of a really fun day, actually. Even though Wendy just woke up.
Oh no.
Lord, did she wake up?
Because she
That was waking up with the.
Yep, she's been good. I mean, today she went to work with us, so with me. I took him to work with me, so goodness. Hey,
Oh, you're fine, baby girl.
And
Wendy, shut the fuck up. Anyway,
Oh my god. Jesus.
Alright, and
I'm just kidding. I'm doing
also
good, man.
joining us
We had a
tonight-
good day at work today. It was pretty fun.
And also joining us tonight, the host of Renegade Wrestling, Gina. How are you tonight?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Poor baby.
I know.
He is
Good.
not happy.
Uh, what did y'all want to start off with tonight? We've got a lot of
Well-
stuff to cover.
Okay, so let's start off. Let's talk about Raw because I know Gina wasn't here. We kind of talked about it last night. We kind of talked about it last night. It's all right. She'll calm down here in a minute.
Right.
We kind of talked about it last night, or offline. But I kind of want everybody to get everybody's thoughts. Now I watched both shows. I streamed. The first hour of Raw was like. It really was. It was putting me to sleep because, and the reason why for me that it put me to sleep is it wasn't the same. The way that they've been starting the show kind of was upbeat. It just seemed okay. We're back to normal again. Then the second hour kind of picked up, and then the third hour kind of it was okay. I wasn't too happy with the first hour, and we talked about it on Monday. They need to go back to 2-hour shows.
Oh, I
Because
completely
that
agree.
last 2 hours went by really fast. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. The 3 hour mark is just it's too much. It's you can watch a 3 hour New Japan, or at least I can, just because there's so many different types of styles in there. But WWE, you kind of everything's kind of watered down a little bit, so to speak. So 3 hours is just too goddamn much.
Well, the thing with New Japan is more about the wrestling. They get right into the wrestling. They don't sit there and cut promo after promo after promo, and that's what bores the shit out of me. I want to see wrestling. I'm there to watch a wrestling show. Yes, promos are important, but come on, give me something that I want to invest my time in. And the first hour did not fucking do that at all.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Bobbit, I know you watched the show with me, and we talked about it extensively on Monday.
Yeah. Well, like what y'all said, the first hour was just, oh, good God, please shoot me with a cannon. But
Right.
the second hour, I mean, like the second, third hour was like, that was some good shit, especially with that main event.
Yeah.
That main event was fucking awesome.
Yes, it was. What was the main event again?
Is
I
it
can't-
really sad that I can't remember Monday Night Raw? at
It
all?
was Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
that was a good match. And do you know who produced that match? You could tell.
Let me guess.
It's Bruce
Bruce,
Pritchard.
Bruce
Bruce
Pritchard.
Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard. You can tell because he gets the fans involved. If you've seen how the fans were popping when they were wrestling all over the fucking arena.
Well, and not only that, but the storyline itself made sense.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, he attacks Roman, and then of course Dean. Well, it made sense for the storyline now, not compared to the storyline that they had going, where Dean turned on him. But Roman gets attacked, Dean gets pissed, Dean wants to fight.
Yep. And
You
I
know?
did like what they did with Roman.
Hmm.
I mean, they were going to have him have a match for 30 minutes. That's a little too soon, just coming back from. But I do like what they did, and it worked. It worked. I enjoyed it.
I agree.
SmackDown.
And
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
was going to bring up the Finn Balor losing the title thing. Everybody
that
was
on
losing
Raw?
their shit.
Okay, so yeah, I forgot about that. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and talk.
Okay. Everybody was losing their shit about it, including myself at first. I mean, I really didn't lose my shit. I was just like, what the hell? But there's a reason behind why they took the title off of Finn. And I believe that reason is ultimately leading up to WrestleMania. They needed Finn Balor in WrestleMania, and what better? There's nothing else for him to really do except for have a feud with Bobby Lashley, just because that's been going on so long.
Right.
So I think at Mania we're gonna see Finn, possibly the Demon, because I've been hearing a lot of rumors about the Demon coming back, and he's gonna end up winning that IC title back at Mania.
Right. But I think it's going to be a handicap match.
Yeah. Do you think that they're gonna do a handicap match, considering that they have triple threats and everything going on so many other places?
A handicap match is different. I think this handicap match will be 2-on-1. I think. I think it would make sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, all that demon gimmick is telling me that the normal Finn Balor can't beat big people, which is bullshit. Because I know he can.
I'm sorry.
Oh no! It's just that story that they had with Finn Balor and Vince when he was going to take on Brock. He said, "I don't believe you can beat him." And even though he gave Brock Lesnar a good match, he didn't beat him. So Vince is point proven, point taken, Vince McMahon won, fan 0.
Which is really weird, because Vince McMahon was actually not a proponent for the demon gimmick to begin with, like, because he thought that it cost too much with the makeup and the time spent having to put on the makeup and all of that, which is one of the big reasons why they stepped away from the demon gimmick to begin with at pay-per-views.
Right.
But I'm okay with them bringing it back for something big like WrestleMania.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know. But it just proves that Finn Balor will never, ever be main title material because of that. That's just me saying that. It's not fans saying that. I just don't see it now because they need the demon. He needs a demon gimmick to win against bigger people. That's sad to say.
Yeah, and we kind of got into it a little bit last night, where Finn Balor his moveset has been restricted so much that his matches are, for me, I love Finn Balor, but his matches have gotten to the point where they're not that enjoyable for me, just because they're very predictable. It's like once he hits the sling blade, you know what's coming. Like it's like, oh, sling blade, he's in the corner. Oh, he kicked him, fell off the ropes, and all of a sudden, coup de grace for the win. It's like clockwork every fucking time.
Yep, agreed. How about a no DQ match between Demon and Lashley? Well, doesn't matter. We'll see. I don't think the Demon gimmick needs a no disqualification match. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to talk about the women because I don't fucking care. That I'm sorry. They've ruined that fucking feud. It's ruined, people. I don't care. It shouldn't main event the way it's been going. The way that they booked that feud, they ended the storyline. The story is done. There's no more story to tell for them. Now, they're just waiting. Now you're just going to sit here doing this, waiting for the fucking match. Because it's going to be the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again. With the fucking promos. Becky's going to come out. I'm in your head. Well, she should be in her head because she's wrestling her at fucking WrestleMania. She should be thinking about it, you fucking moron. Whoever wrote that fucking promo for her needs to be punched because that was god awful. She should be thinking about her. She should be thinking about Charlotte as well. And if I know Ronda Rousey, she probably is. But again, it's predetermined. But don't say something that we already know what she's doing. It makes no sense to me. And if she thinks she's messing with her mind, you're sorely mistaken. Ronda Rousey's been dealing with fucking people like this for fucking years. Misha Tate did the same fucking thing to her, and look at what she did to Misha Tate. She destroyed Misha Tate in like 5 seconds. So I don't. The feud's dead to me. I'm sorry. For all you Becky Lynch fans that think it's going to be this great fucking match, it's not. I don't see it. It's dead to me. And that's why they added Charlotte to the match. Any thoughts?
I don't give a fuck anymore.
Me neither.
All I have to say is, Bobbitt, check the writer's room right now.
Oh, shit.
But no, I completely agree with you. It's a feud. I mean, I guess part of me is excited to see it just because I think that it is going to be a good match, but I'm not excited to see all that shit that leads up to it.
Yeah, it's
JP, I'm completely with you as far as like I think the triple threat actually added more to the match.
It did. That's why it is where it is. I don't think Becky's winning. It's either going to be Charlotte or Ronda. I think Becky has lost. I'm sorry. People are sitting there cheering Becky, Becky, Becky. One of two things is going to happen. If Becky wins, Kofi's losing. If Kofi wins, Becky's losing. You can't get both ways. Sorry, people. They're only going to do one of the two.
Honestly, I think that Becky's lost a lot of momentum now with this whole Kofi storyline because a lot of people are behind Kofi, and it seems like I love wrestling fans. I'm a wrestling fan myself, but it seems like a lot of people, and I think this is mostly casual fans, they can't get behind more than one big storyline at a time.
Nope.
Like it's like, oh nope, we love Becky. Oh nope, now look at Kofi. We love Kofi. Fuck Becky. You know.
Right. It's
always concentrated on one person.
Yep. And I remember watching wrestling, and I'm one of those people where I can follow all storylines. You know, go back and watch wrestling a long time ago. Why do you think they have matches? They're telling stories. Every single match tells a story. Yeah. Becky's already buried, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
She is.
Oh,
sorry.
Before we move any further, we now have Johnny and Trek. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, guys, what's going on, man?
I didn't know I knew Trek was gonna be here. I didn't know if you were gonna be here or not, Johnny.
That's why I said check the writer's room.
Yeah, actually, I got done a little bit early, and I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to do some stuff. So I was like, hell, I'll come on.
Okay. Good. We kind of talked about Raw. You seen Raw with us? What? We that's all we've been talking about for right now. Is the 3 main storylines on Raw. I know we talked about it extensively. We talked about the 3-hour thing. The first hour was shit, but the last 2 hours were actually pretty decent. And then we talked about Finn Balor losing the title. We talked about Finn Balor in general, and then we still kind of talking about Becky and Charlotte, and Ronda, but.
Okay.
Yeah. What are y'all's thoughts?
Trek, you want to go ahead?
No, Johnny, please. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Damn, I was trying to be nice.
No, I don't. Go ahead, Trek. Go ahead.
You know, the whole thing with Becky and Ronda and Charlotte, I'm tired of it. It's overdone. They've overhyped it too much. It's like we knew she was going to get into the main event, so who gave a shit? And not only that, if she wanted to throw away the crutch, like you said, they should have done it Sunday night when she came out, threw away the crutch, and said, "Now it's on."
See,
but she had to do it for Monday.
Yeah, they have her on a crutch, and then she throws the crutch away like right after that. I don't. What in the fuck are they doing? She didn't need the crutch in the first place. That's why I said that fucking storyline is killing her. That storyline is what killed Becky Lynch. That fucking crutch. The fucking knee injury. I don't buy it at all. Johnny, what about you? You can talk about anything that Raw anything. You don't have to talk about what we talked about.
Well, like the whole Finn Balor thing. My thing is, and I'm not saying it to be mean, but Finn Balor has actually kind of gone the way of Becky Lynch. They've kind of ruined him.
Yeah.
You know, and I like Finn Balor, but you know, when I'm not at this point, I'm not watching Raw to see what Finn Balor does.
No.
If that makes any sense.
No.
And it's not anything against the guy. It's just that they're not doing anything worthwhile with him. I feel.
I agree.
At
At least not right now, anyway. Well, they got him in a feud with Lashley. That should tell you a whole hell of a lot right there.
Right. When it comes to the Becky and Ronda thing, did you see the deal they put out today?
No, I've been at work all day.
That they've.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that. We were going to talk about that a little later. We can talk about it now.
Well, it kind of ties into what's going on, right? You know, what you were talking about is that they fined supposedly Becky Lynch, or not Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey for
slapping the ref.
Yeah, I just took that as a slap on the wrist kind of scenario.
Well, it's all it ever is anyway.
And honestly, I go back to what I originally said. They should Becky should have never been in the Royal Rumble.
Agreed.
Or they should have never put Charlotte in this feud.
And now I'm going to say this with more and more, with her being in it makes more sense because it's lost it. Even with Charlotte, it's lost its luster. Even without, I was done with this feud after Becky won the Royal Rumble. I've stated that numerous times.
Right.
They added Charlotte. It had steam when she got added. And then the way they fucking ended the goddamn match at fucking, what was this pay-per-view? Oh, Fastlane? Just killed it.
Yeah.
Why in the fuck? I mean, Ronda wanted Becky Lynch. Maybe Ronda did it because she thought she was going to get Becky one-on-one.
No, she knew she wasn't going to get Becky one-on-one, but she knew that she wanted Becky enough to where she wanted Becky in that match.
Okay. I mean, but still, it killed it. And that's what killed it.
See, I'm kind of at the opposite line of thinking on that one because I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen because there had been so much heat between Becky and Ronda, and it got real for Ronda, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I knew it was going to happen, and obviously she wasn't going to be able to get Becky one-on-one because that was just thrown out the window as soon as Charlotte came in the picture. So you almost knew that she was going to come out and she was going to fuck the match. And I think I actually called it. I said Ronda's going to come out and she's going to there's going to be a disqualification for Charlotte because Ronda is going to attack Becky.
Right.
And that was exactly what happened. And now it's like the fatal triple threat.
Triple threat.
It's the triple threat, and I think that is actually what we needed because a one-on-one just wasn't going to get it done.
Yeah. And Ryan, I go back to this. What happened at TLC between when Asuka beat Becky and Charlotte? I know you all know what happened, but this is why Charlotte is in the feud as well. Not only did Ronda Rousey screw over Becky Lynch, she fucked over Charlotte. That's why Charlotte is in this match. So when they did that, I said it. I think we all said it. Oh, they're going to put Charlotte in the match. No matter what, Charlotte's in it. They could go any way about it. And that kind of fucking ruined it again. You might as well just, she's in the fucking match. Let it fucking go. Let it be a triple threat. If they would have told the story that it was a triple threat the whole fucking time, and then suspended Becky and then added her back in, it probably would have told a better story.
Probably, if they would have. My thing is, I get what people are saying, but at the same time, I have to call out people's hypocrisy on this. Because what is the one thing we always bitch about at WrestleMania? All the multi-man matches.
Yep, and I agree.
And guess what? We're getting a multi-man match, so it's okay now. That's
no.
I'm
not saying it's okay.
No, I know, and I get people. Oh, it's not going to take. What I'm saying is I'm seeing it on Twitter all the time. People are going, oh, well, it's going to add more to the match with Charlotte being in there. So now all of a sudden that it's Charlotte and Becky and Ronda in the match, all of a sudden you fucks are okay with a triple threat?
That's no. I'm. It's the story that they're telling. If the story dictates a triple threat, tell the fucking story. Don't fucking beat around the fucking bush and then fucking do it 3 weeks later where it's now a triple threat.
Right, and that's
exactly just like
the story dictates.
I think that they. I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay, Gina.
I was just going to say, I think that the reason why it got made into a triple threat was because, okay, Becky had all of this momentum behind her last fall, right? And WWE saw that, and they saw the potential to turn it into a Stone Cold like scenario. Now I'm enhancing the like on that one.
Yeah.
So they figured if they turned the tables on Becky and made Becky the quote unquote bad guy, even though she was a babyface, that would add interest to the match between her and Ronda, which it did for a little while. But then because of the Twitter feuds and stuff, it kind of lost its luster, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the crowd wasn't behind Becky as much as they were, originally.
Yeah.
So that's when the whole idea for the triple threat came in, because not only does it give you a better match, but it also reignites what everybody was feeling for Becky originally. Because it's that outrage and shit that triggers emotional responses that's what they need in order to get the storyline going again and to get this match done.
I think the only way that they can really ignite it is if she doesn't win at WrestleMania.
I agree.
The only way that they can keep that fire going, because it just makes sense, because she has lost a ton of momentum, and it's because the natural, and we'll talk about Kofi Kingston in a minute, the natural reaction that people got when Kofi Kingston got added to that match, and then she was in the, what's the matter?
Keeps crashing on me now.
Oh.
Fucking done with this piece of shit.
Calm down. Her computer keeps crashing.
Oh no.
$1,500 on a year-old computer and it's fucking dying. Dell, you're a piece of shit.
Man.
So now I lost my train of thought. God damn it. What the fuck was I talking
Natural
about?
selection.
The natural progression. Well, not natural progression, but Kofi Kingston getting over naturally, which is the way it should fucking be all the fucking time.
Well, but the thing is, that's the way that it was originally with Becky, and that's why the fans got behind her so much. But then WWE, they wanted to capitalize on that. So then they brought out, first of all, the biggest thing that you can do to kill any kind of momentum that a wrestler has for the fans is to give them pre-made signs that say "the man." You hand them out before the show. Oh, here, hold this up. Well, I'm not gonna, unless I have my own made sign myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna want to do that, because it's literally pushing people down our throats.
Yeah, you're right. I totally agree. Wise Society and Ryan. Wise Society. Becky Lynch she's very talented. I think she's right behind Charlotte and Asuka as far as in-ring goes. And I mean, she's right behind. So don't say that Charlotte has never put on, or Becky has never put on a good match. Did you not watch Evolution? Because that match was fucking phenomenal. And that was just Becky and Charlotte. So don't shit on fucking Becky. She has great in-ring ability.
Yes, and you wouldn't see Charlotte and Sasha and everything, all of those people, the people that gained their stardom for the NXT Women's Championship or the WWE Women's Championship, whether it be SmackDown or Raw, you wouldn't have seen people like Charlotte and Sasha get catapulted to the top unless it was because of their matches with Becky Lynch, because
Right.
they had phenomenal matches.
I mean, Becky and Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
She made Alexa Bliss look like fucking gold.
Hmm.
So don't say that Becky's not very good, because that's bullshit. Anybody else got anything to add about the Becky Lynch situation? I get it. People want Becky to win, but like I said, they're not going to give us both Kofi and Becky. If Kofi wins, you're not getting Becky. If Kofi loses, you're getting Becky. They aren't going to give you both. WWE doesn't do that. Not anymore. I know they did it back in WrestleMania 21, but that's because it was John fucking Cena.
Hey now.
Well, no, I'm not
Hey, now.
shitting on it. I'm not shitting on it because John Cena, that story dictated that he needed to win the title. This story doesn't dictate that Becky needs to win the title.
Right, and it also depends on how they tell Kofi's story, and this is just my thought process on it. With the way that they're doing Kofi, it's almost dictating that he's got to win at WrestleMania.
Yep. Is there anything else from Raw that anybody wants to talk about?
Not really, JP.
No.
Y'all kind of hit the nail on the head.
Okay, well, let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown, again, I was really only concerned with I'm sorry, with the fucking Kofi Kingston story.
Oh, actually, there is one other thing I wanted to mention about Raw. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Damn it!
Sorry.
It's all right. Go ahead.
The one thing that I am really pleased with about Raw is their handling of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we talked about that. Go ahead though. Let's get your thoughts, because I know you're not all about the Shield. You're very skeptical of what they're doing with this thing right now. Just go ahead.
So I'm slowly becoming. Now, granted, I am never going to be a huge fan of the Shield.
Correct.
I'm just not, because I stand by my statements that it's the same fucking guys all the damn time.
Agreed.
And we need new faces up there. However, one of my biggest concerns, not that I think that he faked it, but the perception was very important here. And so far, they're handling the perception of him, I think, very, very well. There have been a couple of times where I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck are you doing?
They're teasing it.
But they haven't sit there and went fucking ape shit.
I think that is Triple H putting his hands in there, because now he is part of the booking committee. He has been part of the creative team for a while now, and I think he's running the show.
I want to say this real fast. It came out yesterday that Roman's going to be at Access. I think that'll be the extent of his WrestleMania stint this year.
I think he's going to be in a match.
I think he'll be in a triple threat match, like a 6-man tag team match of some kind. I don't think he'll be in a 1-on-1, just to protect him. Because you got to remember, he just 4 months, and he did have treatments, and he did his last time in the ring. He looked okay, but you could tell he was still missing a little bit. Well, it wasn't tired. That, and he was missing his in-ring. He needed to work on a little bit. Get his stamina back up. So I think he'll be in a 6-man tag team match, and he'll probably do what they did at Fastlane with it.
Either that, or I could see him being in the corner of like Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Ryan, I don't see him and McIntyre. That's just too soon, too quick to have them two wrestle.
Honestly, if anything, I'm sorry, JP, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say McIntyre is a fucking beast. And Reigns, they're not going to, well, that, and they're not going to, I don't think they're going to fucking bury him for Roman. I just well yeah, but I don't that will water him down. Yeah, I don't see that happen.
If anything, I see, not that I want to see this again, but I see maybe another like tag team match maybe with like him and Baron Corbin, just because Bobby Lashley I think is going to be in a match against Finn Balor, like I said earlier. But
Right.
I could see a tag team match maybe like because Dean's contract runs out after WrestleMania, so
Yes.
maybe like Dean and Roman versus McIntyre and Corbin.
Could be. Yes. I can see that. I can see that. Let Dean do most of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Make it about 10-15 minute match.
Right.
Just to get Roman there, because he does put he puts butts in the seats. He does. He puts butts in the seats. He doesn't move the ratings needle, but he puts butts in the seats.
Well, and the thing is, after this whole cancer fiasco and stuff, like, I feel like his WrestleMania moment this year is going to be a little bit different than what it normally is.
He's going to help Seth Rollins win the title.
Well, not only that, but just because people still dislike his character, but people, when that happened on Raw that night, and people were able to differentiate the character versus the man, I think that kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes as far as how much they were actually hating the character and not him.
Correct.
So I can see him maybe getting a little bit of a better reception at WrestleMania than he normally does this year.
Right. So on SmackDown, is that all you had, Johnny, or did you want to add anything else?
Yes, that was it.
Okay. So getting to SmackDown, which I thought Raw actually barely. Well, they were neck and neck. I want to be the Woolman. What's up, basement? So I can't remember some of the matches. Like, what are the big keys that happened on the show? I know Kofi Kingston was the big one. What was
Randy Orton and AJ Styles?
And Daniel Bryan had a tag team match against Mustafa Ali and Kevin Owens.
Oh. Okay.
Oscar kicked ass.
Can we discuss the fact that like Kevin Owens, was that this week or last week when he almost hit the freaking table?
That was at the match.
Was that a Fastlane?
I think so.
Okay, maybe
Yes.
not. But all I know is that he's super, super lucky still. Like,
and he has stated as such. I'm glad to see that Kevin Owens is back. He adds a little bit more to the show. He's back on SmackDown, apparently. Now, again, everybody's like, well, didn't he get fired from SmackDown? Yes. But that was when they had Daniel Bryan was the GM. That story is over now. Let it go. Just don't try to. Well, this doesn't make sense. Sure it does. They've done it before.
Right.
So just let it go. Just slow your shit. Kevin Owens adds a lot to the roster. He's top 5 in the company right now as far as character. His character, he's main event material. Bar none.
Well, the biggest thing with Kevin Owens for me is like, yeah, he's the best as a heel, but
Yes.
when he's babyface, it works too. He's one of those workers that can do both.
I think he's going heel soon. I don't think he's going to be a babyface too long.
I think that he'll go heel as soon as Sami Zayn comes back. And honestly, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna lead to a feud between him and Sami Zayn because that's what everybody wanted initially.
We'll talk about Sami Zayn in a minute. Kofi Kingston, I like what they're doing with him. I like the gauntlet match that they're putting him in.
Right.
It's different. It's not. Now they did do a gauntlet match with him with Daniel Bryan, did they? They just had him where he had to take on Triple H.
Well, I don't think that they did one with Daniel Bryan, but this is weird thing about the storyline is this is actually the second gauntlet match that Kofi Kingston has to compete in.
Yes. Well, the first gauntlet match was to see who comes out last. I think that's why he was in the gauntlet. He was in the match, but he was going to be in the match. But that gauntlet match before Elimination Chamber was to see who, and that's where he got over.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody
that's
wanted
when he-
Kofi. Everybody wanted Kofi to get a shot at the title. When he did what he did at Elimination Chamber, even more people wanted him to be in a title match. When he didn't get it at Fastlane, and then when they did what they did, see, they're teasing you. They're pulling the authority thing with you, but they're doing it a different way this time. Last time, in order for Daniel Bryan to get a shot at the title at WrestleMania, he had to beat Triple H.
And Randy Orton, I think.
Well, no, he had to face WrestleMania 30. He had to face first match of the night, Triple H. Beats Triple H, and then he had to fight Dave Bautista and
Randy Orton.
Yes, in the main event. Talking about the first match. He didn't fight Triple H right away. Or he fought Triple H first. That's what my point is. So the gauntlet match is a different take on it, which I don't mind. I don't mind what they did. But here's what they're doing. Their first match, I think, is going to be Randy Orton. Second match is going to be The Bar, not just Sheamus or Cesaro. It's going to be both of them, just like they did to him at Fastlane. Now, this is going to intertwine stories. This is what I was talking about when they're intertwining stories. Now, I can't remember who the other person is that they're going to have because
Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan's the last one.
Yeah, you know he's the
Samoa
last
Joe.
one.
Samoa Joe.
Oh, there you go.
So what I see happening is Randy Orton, and this is going to be, it's going to intertwine stories. AJ Styles is going to help Kofi Kingston beat Randy Orton,
Yep.
which is going to fuel their feud even more, which is going to add more to the story.
Right.
The Bar, we could see maybe the Usos or New Day. But
Rusev
I
and-
think they're
and
going to tell the
NXT as
story
well.
that the New Day is going to be banned from ringside. And that's
Right,
why you're
so
going to
then
see
you
another
gotta-
tag team.
So
Go
then you
ahead.
got to think about like who's the baby faces as far as tag teams go, aside from the New Day, which would be like the Usos.
You could get
Oh.
Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Yes,
Mhm.
but one of the baby face tag teams I think are going to interfere with that.
Right. And then the one with Samoa Joe will be his opponent at WrestleMania. Who will that be? Could be Kevin Owens.
But Samoa Joe might be one of those ones where he has Kofi just beats him. Clean.
I wouldn't want him to just beat Samoa Joe though.
Right, but what I'm saying is like they're not going to have an interference in every single one of them. So I could see maybe Joe coming out first, and maybe Joe, I don't know, like maybe Joe gets distracted because something's going on ringside or whatever.
Well,
Maybe
no.
New Day's out there.
Like somebody comes out but doesn't interfere
Right.
and it distracts Samoa Joe and then Kofi beats him. And then the
Right.
final match, and we talked about this last night, where Kofi Kingston's going to beat Eric Rowan because Daniel Bryan screwed up or something to that effect. We'll see what happens. I way back in the day, you guys wanted Attitude Era kind of storylines. This is
This
one
is
of those
Attitude.
that they could do.
And I'm sorry, this is not a retelling of Daniel Bryan's storyline.
No, it's not. I
Th-
agree.
This isn't.
No,
It is with a twist.
it is
It
with
sort
the
of
twist.
is, but with a twist, with a huge twist.
Yeah, with a huge twist. It's still the underdog story, but they're telling it right. They're telling it
Differently, right.
different. They're telling it a little different. When I
And-
shouldn't
and-
say
and with
Daniel
Daniel-
Bryan. I shouldn't say Daniel Bryan's story. Underdog story.
Well,
Again,
Yeah.
with the Daniel Bryan storyline, like he, the wrestlers are getting behind Kofi along with the fans. With Daniel Bryan, it was just the fans. Like the fans got Daniel Bryan over.
Right.
But then again, like I said before, that was also back in the day when fans could actually concentrate on supporting one wrestler through a feud before they're
Right.
like, oh, nope, like everybody has fucking ADHD these days. You know, it's like, oh, look, something shiny. Oh, look,
Right.
something else shiny.
Right. So that's what Kofi's going to end up going to WrestleMania. He's going to take on Daniel Bryan. And the way that they've been telling this story, he's ultimately going to end up beating Daniel. He's going to ultimately win, which in turn, I don't think Becky's winning the title. If they do it, then it's a swing.
Honestly, I think Ronda's retaining.
I do too. I think she should retain.
I think she is.
I think she should retain.
Because if she does not retain and she doesn't go out for like time away immediately, then that is gonna basically ruin Ronda's whole storyline around her, the whole like aspect of Ronda Rousey where she is, you know, untouchable.
Agreed. But I ultimately don't see, if they do have her losing it, I don't see her being the one that losing. It'd be either Charlotte or Becky. Charlotte or Becky's taking the pin. One of the two.
What do you think, Basement?
I think I want to fuck you.
Hey,
said
Basement.
hi to you
There
in
he
the
is.
chat, you dick.
What's
What?
up, man?
I said I just said hi to you in the chat. I didn't know you were on the line.
Like 2 seconds ago. What the fuck?
Well, I didn't know that you got on the line, so that was good timing.
Just creeping in the background.
Yeah, I
Listening to you guys
seen
talk
that.
about
I was
Kofi
laughing at some
beating
of your
off on Samoa
comments.
Joe.
What? Say it again?
Kofi beating off on Samoa Joe.
I could have sworn you said Kofi pissing on Samoa Joe, so I'm,
Why do you think he carries around that towel?
Oh, damn.
What about you, Basement? You got anything to add? I know we talked extensively this week about wrestling, but what do you
I
think?
think we're on the same page for the most part. Like I see Kofi beating Daniel Bryan, that's the feel-good moment, and then Ronda retaining is the thing that should happen.
Right. Everybody's like, well, why did they tell the story with Becky? Well, the story with Becky lost its fuel with what we were
They
saying.
could still
together.
go on with a one-on-one.
Yes. I could see them doing it at SummerSlam, and then all of a sudden, the Four Horsewomen feud. We'll see. We'll see.
you know, and
They'll do it on the pay-per-view right after.
well, JP, you and I were talking about this last night, and Heather, I can't remember who else was on the call with us. I think Bobbitt, but
Yes.
I think Shayna Baszler's getting called up soon
Yes.
to prepare for that Four Horsewomen's match.
Yes.
The problem with that is you still have 2 horsewomen down in NXT that are very fucking green.
Very.
Um,
green.
especially Jessamine Duke or whatever her name
Yep.
is. Like she's fucking as green as they come. But
Marina
the
Shifter's not too bad.
the
She's
The only way that they can make that match work at SummerSlam is going to be if it is UFC rules for the UFC side. You know what I mean?
That cannot happen. They could come in and just
No,
fucking
but
break
I mean,
someone's
like,
arm.
No, I don't mean like that way. I mean like if they tell Jessamine Duke and what's the other one's name? down
Marina
there?
Schiffner.
Thank you. If they tell them,
Schiffner and Duke.
listen, you
Terrible
could
names.
do the UFC or MMA moves, but don't hurt anyone. You know, like kind of UFC watered down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
because,
watered down a
because
lot
the-
so
as
that
far
it's
as-
just pro wrestling.
Because as far as it goes, they can take bumps, but they don't know how to deliver them. So I would actually like to see that UFC versus wrestling.
You know,
I would like to see that four horsewomen's match. You know,
Well, if it's UFC versus wrestling, sadly, wrestling is going to get destroyed.
yeah,
okay,
well,
let me rephrase that. MMA type fighting versus wrestling.
I will also agree with what I just said again.
Shut up, basement. You know what I'm trying to say.
I
Added this fuck to the call.
I think ultimately what Gina is saying is, I ultimately think that they should not water it down, but let Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler do most of
Carry
the
the
fucking
match.
work.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
if they have Marina Schiffner, I think, look, she's married to Roderick Strong, so I think Jessamine Duke is the one. She's the wild card.
Yeah.
She's the one that needs the fucking work. Marina Shifter, she's not too bad. I think she can do a little bit. But you got to remember, they're going to be in the ring with 4 of the best women there is in wrestling today, and Shane, Becky, Ronda, Sasha, and Bailey. So I think they'll be okay. They just have Jessamine Duke not do as much as ultimately the other 3.
Like if she gets tagged in, then have her in the ring and have her take a shit ton of bumps. Because like I said, she can take bumps.
Right. Well, right, but you got to have her somehow get away from that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like have her take a bump and then have her, I don't know, like fucking drop kick somebody out of the ring or something. Just enough time for her to get to her corner and tag out.
Yep. She's got to be able to do something though, because she can't just take bumps and then get back in the ring. I think she'll do something MMA-ish, but we'll
like
see.
Fake punches like Ronda.
Yep. But other than that, SmackDown was an okay show. I know Basement, you came on in the last hour and it was okay, but then the ending was what really what picked me up. The promo between AJ Styles
and Randy
was fucking, I'm gonna use this word, phenomenal.
Yes, I agree.
That was really good promo. Like that was a work shoot promo. I love it. That's the kind of shit they need to fucking do. Work shoot promos.
You know, and I was just gonna bring it up right before you did, but that was one of the highlights of the night for me. I mean, for me, what happened with Kofi obviously was a highlight, but then the Randy Orton and AJ Styles feud, the promos that they both made on each other, like the shoots that they made, were just ridiculously good, and that's how you know that you have seasoned veterans in the ring.
Right. I agree. Does anybody else have anything to add for SmackDown?
Before we move on, you talked about Raw already?
Yes.
Did you I wasn't here. What happened with? Did you speak on like Kurt Angle and his potential opponent?
They haven't really said. He actually Monday. We're gonna talk about that. Monday, okay. He's announcing his opponent.
He did do a tweet, kind of surveying who everybody thought his opponent should be, and I said John Cena. I think without a shadow of a doubt, he was John Cena's very first opponent when he came into WWE. So I think that John Cena should be the one to retire him.
I agree. I forgot about that. I always forget that John Cena was his, or Kurt Angle's. John Cena was Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying.
Kurt Angle was John Cena's first opponent.
His very first opponent. So yes, and I ultimately think that John Cena will go over because.
Okay, JP, just carry the one.
Don't get me fucking started.
Carry the one.
You got a 33 and a third chance. No, yeah. So I see John Cena. I could see John Cena if he shows up, because I think he would, out of respect for Kurt Angle. I don't think he'll stay around. I think he'll ultimately I got to go make more movies. So.
Yeah, and I think that this is the one WrestleMania that we're not going to see Taker, and I'm actually glad for that.
Me too. I don't care to see him. I think we're pretty much all in agreement there, right?
I want to see Undertaker versus Ric Flair. Geriatric Battle Royal.
Ric Flair's retirement match?
No, he just went in for surgery for something. I'm not sure what.
They have
reduction.
Breast reduction.
Penis reduction surgery.
All I heard Shrek say was the upper.
Yeah, they haven't said what he was going in for. It's an unknown surgery.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Taker is doing, Starrcade and all that. So
Starrcast.
Whatever. Did I say Starrcade?
Yes, you did.
That was
you and Heather.
Shit, wasn't
you
it?
And Heather. You both always say Starrcade. Starrcade is a wrestling event.
That's
Starrcast.
But, wait, if it's a wrestling event, doesn't that?
No, it's just like a Comic-Con thing. It's not
Oh,
a-
okay, but anyways, he's doing Starcast.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and I honestly think that we might. I don't think that we're gonna see him wrestle in AEW, but I think we might see him in the crowd
You might.
at AEW, just because
You
it's
might.
right across the damn street. And it's Cody Rhodes, and Undertaker had a really close relationship with Cody and his dad and his brother. So I think that that's going to be it. But I'm perfectly good with not seeing Taker in a WrestleMania. I don't want to see him again.
Me neither. I'm with you. I'm with you, sister. Anybody else got anything they got to add? Oh, I don't give a shit about the fucking Batista Triple H thing. Moving on.
Oh my God, that promo on Monday was so bad. Batista forgot his lines.
Yep.
And give me what I want. Like, what the fuck is that? So give me what I want. What I really want.
I'm not into that feud at all. Sorry.
I was when it first happened, like when he first initially attacked
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
But after this week's promo, I lost interest so bad because you could tell Batista forgot his lines, and because he sat there for like 10 seconds just looking like a fucking dumbass, stunned in like a deer in headlights, and then he's just repeating the same shit over and over again. Hunter did not, or fucking Triple H did not know how to react. Like he didn't know what to say.
But he did say you're gonna stand there and look at me like a dumbass,
Yeah.
or
He-
when I can't
Triple-
remember, he said something. You're gonna stand there looking like something. I can't remember.
Yeah, Triple H, he tried. He did try, but like Batista, as soon as he forgot his lines, he was all like flustered.
They should have just let them two go. They did.
No, man, they should have went out and just like did a muscle off. They're like
Ooh.
two muscly middle-aged men.
Interesting, Wise Society. Interesting, very very interesting. He said Cody Rhodes just applied for the Dusty Rhodes trademark, which I did hear that earlier today, and Conrad Thompson applied for the Four Horsemen trademark.
Okay.
I don't know if they're
Fuck.
gonna get the Four Horsemen
They
because
won't get
that
the
was
Four Horsewomen
that because
trademark. 'cause-
WWE has them.
yeah.
Yeah. But
and the Dusty Rhodes. Why would you want to trademark Dusty Rhodes? Then you're essentially
no,
fucking everybody else.
No, he doesn't want to trademark Dusty Rhodes. He wants to trademark the Dream. That's what he wants trademarked.
Well,
Because
that's actually
I think that-
trademarked by the WWE because they're the one that gave him that gimmick.
Well, I think that what he wants to do is he ultimately wants to take over his dad's the Dream character. Or like carry on the legacy, you know what I mean?
I think
Which I'm okay. I think that I think if anybody should get that fucking trademark, it should be Cody because I mean that's his son.
Dustin.
I get it, but I don't see WWE giving it up.
Yeah, but I mean if he applied for trademark, that means that it's not already
WWE
trademarked.
already has it.
They have Dusty Rhodes. They don't have the Dream.
Yes, they do. They have the American Dream. They're the
Yeah,
ones
but
that.
no. It's not. He doesn't want the American Dream. He just wants the Dream.
Well,
Just shoot me in the
you
face.
can't trademark the word "the Dream."
Whatever. He's trying to.
You can't. That's fine. You really can't even trademark the American Dream because it's just too fucking. What is he gonna fucking? I'm not arguing with you here. This is why trademarks. This is why wrestling. This is where wrestling gets fucking stupid. You're gonna start trademarking fucking words, and then pretty soon nobody's gonna be able to say those words without getting fucking sued.
Well, look what happened when they trademarked War Games. Then WWE had to find a way around it too.
Who trademarked War Games?
MLW.
Did you know that WWE owns MLW? They work with MLW.
You're right. Why he does. Velveteen Dream does go by the Dream, but he calls himself the Dream. Nobody else does.
But I'm not trying to start an argument here. I'm just saying, when you start
No,
trademarking shit, it essentially, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be involved in the fucking what he's doing. I don't.
Well, right,
want
and
them.
I don't know why Conrad would be trying to trademark the Four Horsemen because, like, what the fuck does Conrad have to do with it?
He don't. I don't know.
Cody Rhodes has a very punchable face, man.
I know.
He does, but
He
I
has
don't
that
mind.
arrogant asshole look.
He does.
But yet I've heard that he is one of the nicest people.
He is. He's a pretty cool kid. That's because of who his dad brought his boys up right.
I love Cody Rhodes just simply because he is all about the fans.
Yep. And that's what Dusty was all about.
Right.
Even though he hot shotted a lot of talent, but that's okay. Goldust is never leaving WWE. If he's gonna go to WWE, he's gonna go as Dustin Runnels, because WWE will never allow him
You mean
to
if
go.
he's gonna go to AEW?
Yes, Goldust.
Carry
is
the
not
one.
going. Dustin Runnels will go to AEW. Goldust will not leave WWE.
I'm actually. They keep on teasing who Cody's fucking opponent is for Double or Nothing, and I'm wondering if it's not going to be Dustin Reynolds.
Well, if he's under contract with WWE, you can't.
I don't think he's under contract anymore.
No, he still is.
He still is. I know.
Oh,
he
is
still
he?
Is. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Never mind then. I
That's all
thought
right.
his contract had ran out, but
WWE's not going to let him go. Not
No,
anytime
I
soon.
know
They're
who
gonna hold
Cody's
him
opponent's
hostage.
going to be. Captain Fanta.
oh god.
Shut the fuck up, Bobbit.
Bring Glacier back.
So, moving on to NXT. Who all watched NXT this week?
I did.
I
Basement and I did together.
Get there
Bobbit.
one.
I know Bobbit.
It was a
Bobbit
community
watched it
event.
with me. Trek watched it. Did you watch NXT, Johnny? You didn't, did you?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay, so NXT this week was really interesting.
hmm
Especially the ending of the show.
I'm so angry.
I am
I'm not angry. I'm just upset. Because
I
that had
kind
the
of seen it. I
potential-
kind of seen it coming though.
No,
I'm
but
not
I mean,
upset. I'm just disappointed.
No. Look, that too. I'm just disappointed because like the ending was so fucking great and it set up Takeover so good, and now we know that it's not gonna fucking happen.
Nope. Because if you all watch the end of, if you watched NXT, I know what's happening. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. I know who's
yeah, 'cause
facing
I
who.
will cut you.
I know who's. And it's kind of, if you really look at it, you kind of figure out who's facing who.
Yeah, why we know that was the last taping from the previous episodes.
No. Next week, you will know who's facing who. You'll see. You're all
Okay,
gonna
but
hate it.
I was just super disappointed because you know what happened to Ciampa and
Mhm.
and how NXT ended, and that would have set up Takeover so freaking. Oh, it would have been such a great setup for Takeover.
Yes, the way that what Gina's talking about is what happened at the end of the show. That was what was setting up a match between Ciampa and Gargano at Takeover. It wasn't setting up Ciampa taking time away. That's not what
Right.
this was doing. Before people go, well, Ciampa's leaving. Well, no shit, Ciampa's leaving. This
had
was
no
last
choice.
This was the last taping before the next set of tapings started.
Yeah.
So, we did get to see Bugenhagen for like a brief 2 seconds.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Like Basement's like, hey Gina, who's that? And I'm like,
I sent Gina something last night that put a smile
That
on her
was so
face. I'm
great. That was so great.
sure. But
By the way, what the fuck was he coming out of? Was that like a
it's
storage
a locker.
thing, or was
Yeah, it was like
okay?
a
'Cause
locker.
I was
storage
like, is that a porta potty or is that a locker?
locker, right?
What I'd like to know is what the fuck was he doing in there?
I don't know, but it was
He's
great.
just being Bugenhagen, I guess.
He's calling out. He was praying to the rock gods. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Playing
what
air
the fuck
guitar.
He's the metal gods or whatever. The fatal four-way between. I can't stand Bianca Belair, but I think they're setting up Bianca Belair to win the title, and essentially ending Shayna Baszler in NXT, and then she'll get called up after WrestleMania.
I think so too, because that's really the only thing that makes sense if you think about it. Because like it feels to me like Kyrie and Io can't say. I'm always want to call it Ebro, but Kyrie and Io, I think that they're gonna end up as a tag team.
Yep. I mean,
Can it be a fatal four-way?
yes, it is.
Well, it is a
It's
fatal four-way.
Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair's gimmick can straight fuck off. I can't fucking stand it. She acts like a 15-year-old hood rat. I
What you
cannot-
talking about, Willis?
I don't know why she
cannot-
can use her hair as a weapon. It's like,
Ba-
why is that
Basement
legal?
and I had a long conversation about this during that match, actually, because like it should be considered a weapon because
Yep.
that's not her real hair.
It's true.
I'm just gonna tape a kendo stick to my arm. It's part of me.
It's part of my arm.
I don't think they're breaking up Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. I
No.
agree with Gina. They're going to be the first women to challenge in NXT for the women's titles. Watch. They ain't breaking up Kairi and Io.
No,
them
because
two
otherwise-
together are fucking fantastic.
Well, and not only that, but otherwise, who else do they have in NXT
Nobody.
that could challenge for that title? Because yeah, you have fucking I don't know, the two that can't fucking wrestle yet. You have those two from UFC.
Yep.
I can never fucking remember their names, but you have those two, but they're not even close to being ready. Otherwise, there's nobody else down in NXT that has a bond that you could consider as a tag team.
Right.
It's the captain and first mate.
Yes.
Oh God.
I know
Don't
they should come out in like one of those fucking
Don't fucking
fake
bitch.
boats.
Don't
I'm telling you right now that if next year WrestleMania in Tampa Bay, Florida, if they do not have Kyrie Sane come out in a pirate ship, I'm going to lose my shit.
No.
Gina, Gina,
Why?
I agree 100%.
Why?
Because it's the Tampa Bay Pirates. Like, you have to. Kyrie Sane is the fucking captain of the ship. She's the pirate.
Hope she gets launched out of a fucking cannon.
She gets stuck in the scoreboard.
Oh, shut up,
She-
Trek. That was my line, asshole.
I know that's. I know
Well, then
that's. why I
Quit
give you
stealing
credit
my
to you.
shit, asshole.
She's tiny enough to get shot out of a cannon, that's for sure.
You jackass. But
That's the
anyway,
finisher.
I don't
Uh,
want to see Kyrie Sane come out in a pirate ship. I don't.
I do.
I don't.
Why,
I don't.
why,
There's one there. They don't
why
need.
society... I'm sorry.
Don't. Who do you think Belair would feud with after this?
Io Shirai.
Io Shirai. I mean, she's gonna have her feuds.
She's gonna have to.
She's gonna have to. Well, Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae will ultimately take the title off of her, I think.
And if you remember, there was a feud going prior to this with Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair.
Yeah. See, pay attention to detail, my friend. Does anybody else have anything to add about NXT? I actually thought that it was an okay show, but it wasn't the greatest.
What do you think of the Sons of Anarchy? Or whatever the fuck their name is.
Fucking hate
Yeah,
that
Sons
shit.
of
Forgotten
Anarchy.
Sons.
Or the Forgotten Sons, yeah.
Oh, the
I thought
Forgotten
they were
Sons?
Sons of Anarchy too.
I don't think they're beating Aleister Black and
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
I do.
You do. But, I mean, I already know who wins.
I think that the
This
Forgotten
guy is
Sons,
future.
I think the Forgotten Sons, like Basement, you and I were talking about this too. Like we both agreed that they have potential, but I see more as like I don't know what their leader is. I don't know what his name is, but the guy with like the Luke Harper type beard.
He looks like he could be keeping like kids in a fucking cellar somewhere.
Exactly,
that
but I
Magnus?
think that he has. I think he has the most potential. Out
Who's
of
the
all.
blonde chick? Who's the blonde chick that you said had potential? Candice LeRae. What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is Wise Society talking about?
He apparently in NXT. You must have said at some point in time there was some blonde chick down there that had potential.
Lacey Evans, maybe you're thinking of? Who's
Lacey
now
Evans
doing
had-
catwalk
Oh,
up
God,
on-
no.
Lacey Evans had potential, but she's fucking
Ooh.
ruined.
Another potential person that Bianca Belair could feud with would be Mia Yim because they also had a
See,
feud right before
There,
this. too.
that's who I was thinking. Tainara Conchi. She's gonna be good. They got to give her time to develop, though. She got to remember she just came from jujitsu, so she's still learning.
the
everything.
chick that was in the Mae Young Classic, right?
She's good.
Yeah.
She's good.
She's South American.
What about
got
that
one, yeah.
female Pete Dunne?
Oh
Oh,
God,
Rhea Ripley.
she's in
Yeah.
the UK, NXT UK.
Just
She's
fucking-
actually-
I don't understand why they even have
she-
that thing as a.
She is in a feud with Tony Storm for the UK Championship.
Yeah, that I've seen.
I feel
watched
like
that match.
kill NXT UK. There's not enough.
I am starting to not care about fucking Toni Storm. I watched her wrestle, and it's not that great.
I think that she had better matches during the Mae Young Classic, the first original one.
I'm not seeing it. I've heard so much about her. I've only seen her wrestle like twice, but the 2 times that I've seen her wrestle, it's okay. I'm not gonna.
The second to the last match in this year's Mae Young Classic was great.
It don't impress you much, JP.
I mean, she doesn't bore me. I just don't see the hype behind her.
You know what? You know one thing that I'm really disappointed in? I'm really disappointed that they stuck Jazzy Gabbert in NXT UK.
Well, you got to remember.
This is why just fucking abolish NXT UK.
I starting to think so.
Well, I mean, I know that she's from Germany, right?
Yes. She just came back. She just came back from surgery too.
Like I know, but like I was really, because she's 100%. She's back. She's been back. She was in the Indies for a while after she came back, but I was really hoping they were going to bring her up to the main roster immediately because they needed another big woman on that main roster in order to fight Nia.
Yeah. You all want to see a really good Meiko Satomura match? You haven't seen a Meiko Satomura match until you see her and Kana, Asuka. Watch that match. It's on YouTube. Phenomenal.
Let me sneeze.
It was in Shine, I think. It's for the title. It's been phenomenal. It's better than anything I've seen.
Turtle.
Pretty
Sorry,
much.
I sneezed.
Pretty much that's all we had from NXT. Gina, is there any AEW news? I mean, there's one thing that I do want to talk about, but go ahead.
Honestly, I am a little behind on my AEW news because, like, I started watching the Cody Rhodes YouTube episodes last night, but I fell asleep, so I have nothing.
Okay. I have one thing. Now, we all know that the Khans own or have the financial backing for NXT, right?
AEW.
Or AEW, sorry. They also own the Jaguars. Now, I want to keep everybody in mind, and I'm not saying that they're going to fucking lose money. But these contracts, they just released the highest paid player that they have, and it's costing them $50 million to release him. They have to pay that $50 million.
Mm-hmm. You do realize that the Khans are...
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
They're part of the financial backing. They're one of the major financial backers, right? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
With them owning the Jaguars, my fear, this is just a fear that I have, is that they're going to start, if they're going to continue, because they just signed a bunch of people, the Jaguars did, to big contracts. They just signed Nick Foles to a big contract. They have to pay for that, and this, and all this other shit, and they're releasing players. They've released players and have already given up like $100 million in salary, buyouts, contracts. I'm hoping, and my fear is that they're going to be like, well, we can't do this anymore because I'm sick and tired of either they're going to give up the Jaguars or they're going to give up AEW. That's my fear. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I don't foresee that happening because just one of the Khans, just the son alone, is worth more than Vince McMahon. The father is worth triple what the son is worth. Plus you have
conduit.
Like AEW. Yes, the Khans are the major backing, but they also have a lot of other backers that are in it. Now that they kind of kept the other financial backers hidden. But like Cody Rhodes did say on one episode that I watched last night before I fell asleep, that there are several financial backers.
Watch Vince McMahon own like half the company.
Yeah, oh God.
I'm not sitting here saying that I don't want them to succeed. That's not what I'm doing, but because they just released Blake Bortles.
I want them
And
to fail.
have to pay him $50 million. And I don't care if that's chump change to them. That's money that's got to come out of their pocket. They have
Right.
to give him $50 million. The NFL isn't giving him $50 million. They have to give him $50 million.
Fuck, because somebody want to give me $50 million?
I know, right? I mean, that'd be fantastic.
Right?
So ultimately, when they keep releasing players, when they sign these guys these big fucking contracts, and they're also paying these wrestlers now, wrestling salaries will get inflated, especially if AEW takes off. It's gonna happen. I see it happening. Oh, I want this much, and they're gonna be like, well, I can't because I gotta pay. What's more important to the NFL, or more important to them?
Right.
Do you see what I'm
AEW
saying?
for sure.
No, it's not.
I do another topic on AEW. Not that I'm changing this one, but they are going to have the over the budget battle royale again this year. And this was on one of the episodes I watched last night, and there are some big time names coming in for that over the budget battle royale.
Okay.
Like they haven't really released
What does the winner get?
much.
A title shot.
The winner, all Cody said was that the winner is definitely going to get something. He's going to be rewarded this year.
He's definitely gonna get something.
No, listen, like
Free lunch.
he said that last year the battle royale winner didn't really get much, because Flip Gordon was the winner, and obviously Flip just got to I can't remember who he got to wrestle, but he got to wrestle somebody in like the actual pay-per-view.
He wrestled for the Ring of Honor title.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
It was Jay Lethal at the time.
right, but he said he can't reveal very much because it'll be giving everything away, and he doesn't want to do that. But he said that there is a huge incentive for these guys to win this battle royal.
Okay. I just wanted to throw out this because I knew that something like this was going to be brought up, and I just wanted to bring it up. I do. That's $50 million. I don't give a fuck who it is. $50 million is a lot of fucking money. They can
Well, if you have
there
like
might be
$7 billion,
billionaires, but that's still not that's a lot of money. So that's all I wanted to talk. What the fuck are you doing?
She probably smiled when I did it.
No, I'm not doing Takeover Why Society. I will watch it, but I'm not doing it.
We don't
And,
stream takeovers anymore.
And
That's all.
I
That's all the AEW news I had. But go ahead, Gina. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. I was just gonna say that I know that Sunny Kiss is gonna be part of that battle royal.
Who the fuck is that?
Sunny Kiss,
Yeah.
she's he is. Did you watch the rally?
Is he that fruitcake dude?
Well, if you by fruitcake you mean gay, then yes.
Okay.
Fruitcake.
Yes, I do
Well,
mean
his
gay.
name is Sunny Kiss.
He's the black guy that he was very first one that came out in
Oh,
the
he's
rally.
the
in
transgender
Vegas.
person.
No, he's not transgender. Like he's openly gay. Dresses like very feminine, but that's part of his character. But he is part of that battle royal.
So AEW's version of Velveteen Dream.
Basically, yes. They have a lot of that Nyla Rose that's in the women's championship. She's transgender.
Right.
They have a lot of different things like that. So when people watch AEW, just keep your mind open. Remember that this isn't 1952 anymore. Okay, like don't
Okay.
be hating on a company just because they have transgender people in it.
Adrian Adonis played a transgender in WWF way back in the day.
Right, but I've seen so many people. The only reason why I said that is because I've seen a lot of people that have been like sending really, really nasty shit openly on Twitter to like Brandy and Cody Rhodes and a couple of other people in there because there's transgender people and openly gay people and stuff that are being included in AEW. But they're trying to build a company that is based on today's society and not 1952. So
How dare they?
just keep your mind open and don't be so fucking. Whether you're talking WWE, AEW, whatever, don't be so goddamn rude.
Exactly.
Nope, you're right.
Unless the superstar deserves it. In which case-
Exactly. You know, I mean, these people that I don't care who you are. If you've earned an opportunity to be there, then you should be there.
Okay, so wait. Who are these big names? Because I don't know who the fuck Sonny Kiss is.
Sonny Kiss really isn't a big name.
Sonny
just-
Kiss, well, Sonny Kiss is my. I only brought that up because of like the inclusionary part of it. But fuck, I can't remember who off the top of my head. Just go and watch the Cody Rhodes stuff on YouTube, and he does like a couple of people are announced in there. There's not, like I said, they're keeping that battle royal kind of on lockdown. There's not a whole lot being released about it, but
Yeah.
Well, I think that the reason why you are seeing a lot of comments about, about this transgendered wrestler is there is a pretty big debate going on right now on whether or not transgender men that have transitioned into women, if they should be allowed to be in women's sports.
do they have a vagina now?
Well, if it's
But do
If
they have?
if they have a vagina now, then they're a woman.
if it's
The
wrestling,
argument
pro wrestling, who
is-
cares?
The argument is, and I'm just presenting the argument, is they have a physical advantage.
That's true. That's that. Is there, okay, so
I don't-
and I.
But if we're talking
I get
about
what
pro
you're saying.
wrestling, it's fake. So
But you,
I don't really care who wrestles anybody. If we're talking about
You're
actual
right.
sports,
again,
then
again, you're wanting to know why I'm pointing it out. You want to know why this is even an issue is because there is a legitimate debate about this right now.
There is.
Right, but then you could also make the argument about Nia Jax. Like, she looks like a fucking man, but yet
But
she has a
it-
vagina. So
I
there's
think.
there's
hold
an
on,
advantage
hold
on
on,
her.
Hold on. This isn't a debate about wrestling. This is a debate about all sports.
I get
Just
it.
look at, the
Like,
case
so,
of,
like,
look at the case of the UFC fight where the transgender woman crushed her competitor's skull.
Yeah. She has a
yeah,
physical
even that one
advantage.
where, like,
So my
Yeah.
thing is, it's hard for me because I look at it from the army because they're trying to get not transgenders out of the army, but they're forcing everybody to go to one standard, which is what they should do
mhm.
anyway, period. But that person that's transitioning from a male to a female, and it's not, and again, it comes back to this, they're physically, women in the army, it's going to sound bad, they're physically inferior to men. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's all kind of more individual because we kind of talked about this was it last night or a
Right.
few nights ago. It's
Right.
based on individual, but overall it does make sense.
Okay, so a lot of these women, these guys they're somebody barked it in my fucking ear one time, says I'm gonna go transgender. Person went transgender so that they didn't have to do as many push-ups, sit-ups, or didn't have to do the run. Is because it's a slower time for women, or it's not as
that was
many
the
for
reason
women.
that they went. I can't believe that.
Yes.
Right?
It's like I'm gonna go and get my penis chopped off and turned
That
inside out
is
so that
why-
I can run.
Just-
more.
And that's
It's
why.
like
So-
the most
and that's
illogical
why
way
there's
to
the
avoid
debate.
that.
That's why
But
the
that's
debate.
why there is the
That's why
debate
the
is
debate
because
is going on.
that scenario can pop up if you take like let's say you take like the 200th ranked guy in any particular sport, and what the argument is that these biological men are taking money in scholarships away from women.
That's the debate.
Well,
That's the
thing
debate.
is, you look at that. It was like I think it was a man that transitioned to a woman, and they were in like maybe college wrestling, something like that, and the person that transitioned just obliterated the competition.
Yes.
Never lost a match. Went like 17-0. The bottom line is you can transition, but you can't physically change body structure, especially if
True.
you're transitioning after your body's already grown,
Well, the
which
thing
is realistically legally when you should only be able to do it anyway.
I don't know. Like I look at okay, like okay, for instance, AEW, the women's match. Okay, you have the transgender lady Nyla Rose, and then you have her going up against Britt Baker, and I can't remember the other one. But the other two are like pretty small women, so like I can understand it there. But like when I look at Nyla Rose, like she's no bigger than actually Nia Jax is actually bigger than Nyla Rose is. So I see it in certain situations where they're fighting very like much smaller women, but when they're fighting women that are more their size, then it's a little different from me.
So to tie it into the wrestling, the reason why people are having an issue with it, we all know it's scripted, we all know what's that, but they're giving the message that it is okay when the debate hasn't been settled yet.
Yeah, but I think that like the biggest thing with AEW is just like the inclusion is a huge part of AEW. It is not just like inclusion for transgender, for gay, lesbians. That's not just it. Like they're trying to inclusion for everyone, which is why they the sensory issues thing that they're doing, like that, like having the taking care of people with sensory issues, whether it be PTSD or autism or whatever. That's a huge part of Double or Nothing. They're
Right.
just trying to include more of a fan base that is typically left out of regular wrestling.
Well,
See you later,
and
basement.
that's well and good, but to say, but what I'm speaking to say that the people that are saying that there is an issue with this wrestler being transgendered and competing against women, to say that their issue is not a legitimate issue is false, because there is a legitimate debate going on about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
So basement Skype.
Yeah, I know. I
Press.
already read what he
Okay.
said. Yeah, we're good. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Give me a second. Are you talking about Bea Priestley?
No,
Kylie Ray. You're talking about Kylie Ray.
Kylie Ray. There we go. Bea Priestley. That was actually on one of the episodes I watched as well. Bea has been hired by AEW, but she's not coming in until the second event that they have in Jacksonville.
Right. Okay. Nope, that's fine. And I get to finish off the transgender thing. For me, I don't care, to be honest with you, because we do see intergender wrestling, and you're probably going to see it in AEW anyway. So
Right.
So the really the debate, and I get what Johnny's saying. I don't think the debate would apply to here.
No,
If that
it
makes
would
sense.
realistically it would not apply to
No.
wrestling in general. But again, I go back to that
You're gonna get those
classic argument. That classic argument. It's about the perception.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. That being said, we got a couple more things that we're going to talk about, and then we'll be done for the night. I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's kind of already talked about the Kurt Angle thing. Here's what I want. We kind of talked about it. Gina and I have already given ours on who we think, and we're just going to go around the table. Who do you think Kurt Angle should face, and what do you think should happen? Bobbin.
I'm a fan of the ruthless aggression era. I am. I want John Cena, Kurt Angle. That would be
Now, let's keep in mind when Kurt Angle and John Cena faced the first time, Kurt Angle could wrestle circles around John Cena like there was no tomorrow. Got to remember, Kurt Angle's 50. Again, I'm going to go back to this. Kurt Angle can still go, but he's not what he was way back in 2004. It'll still be a good match, and and I can totally agree with Gina. I totally agree with Bobbit. It was John Cena's first match was against Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's last match should be against John Cena. It tells the perfect. It's a bookend story.
Yeah, it ties up the perfect circle.
Yep.
I'm gonna go kind of an oddball. Well, this is for me. I know it won't happen, but if I had to pick a superstar, Chad Gable.
Okay.
That would actually be a great match.
It would be.
The reason why I say that is because it would be a classic passing of the torch. And I love those kind of matches where it's a passing of a torch.
But what torch is he passing to him?
Considering what they're using Chad Gable for now.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, again,
I get what you're saying.
And I'm saying if it was in a perfect world,
right?
Chad Gable would be the opponent for Kurt Angle.
In a perfect world, Chad Gable would have been the one that they chose to be Kurt Angle's son, and then that match right there would have been the perfect way to send Kurt Angle off.
Yes, I can agree there. I mean, we ultimately, I hate to say this, when you say passing the torch, I think that, and I get it, but I think passing the torch is more like the next guy that's going to run take the baton and run with it for the company. I don't see Chad Gable doing that.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be about running the company, though. They've done several passing of the torch matches, and the guy wasn't the guy that ran the company.
Okay, all right. I don't know what you mean by passing the torch then.
Well, I think he's talking about kind of like what John Cena did with Balor. You know, like even though Balor lost his match at the Royal Rumble against Brock Lesnar, was it Royal Rumble? Whatever it was, against Brock Lesnar, John Cena kind of still passed the torch, so to speak, and it wasn't necessarily that Balor was going to be the new face of the company. It was just Balor was the new John Cena, so to speak.
I'm not shitting on what Johnny said. I can get where he's coming from. I think I was a little confused on what he meant by passing the torch.
It does make sense though, because like Kurt Angle was always the WWE's Olympic golden boy, right? Well, Chad Gable is he was an Olympian, so it would make a lot of sense to pass the torch on to him as far as being the WWE's Olympic golden child.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they fucked that up as soon as they made Jason Jordan Kurt Angle's.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they should have made Chad Gable the son.
Yes,
I would agree. I would love to see Chad Gable versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
I would love to see it, but I think everybody's going with the logical choice. It should be John Cena because that.
Well, but yeah, logically, with the way that things are today, yes, I would go with John Cena.
I do like your pick, though. I'm not going to sit here and shit on it.
You know what, though? And I think it makes sense with John Cena just because of what John Cena said last year. Last year, John Cena said, when he was sitting in the audience, he said, whether I'm in the ring or not, I'm always going to be at WrestleMania.
Right.
So for people to think that he's not going to be at WrestleMania this year, that's a little ridiculous in my opinion. The only way he's not going to be there is if he's filming. Right. And I can't imagine that he's going to be scheduling something to be filmed during WrestleMania season.
Right. Trek, what about you?
I'd say John Cena because it's a good booking, like we said, and it'll be a good, flashback. They could always do like this is what happened when he showed up, this is what happened when Kurt Angle showed up, and they ended it. And for all we know, that could be John Cena's last official match too. So it could be both of them going out.
I don't think it'll be his last match.
You really think they're gonna do two last matches?
They ain't gonna that kind of overshadows Kurt Angle if they do that. So it would. I think. Anybody else got anything to add? Heather, what about you?
Well, to go on Johnny's theory, in a perfect world, if Jason Jordan were able to wrestle again, I would love to see that.
That's another good pick.
Another good pick.
However, him not being able to I could see him wrestling John Cena.
Okay.
I don't. Is there really? I'm sitting here trying to think if there's really anybody else that he could face.
Well, it's not going to be Triple H because he's going up against
Batista.
Batista. It's not going to
Right.
be Ric Flair.
And it's not going to be Taker.
People are sitting there
It's not going to
saying
be
that
Shawn
Baron
Michaels.
Corbin is rumored.
It's not going to be Baron Corbin.
No, I don't think so. Like, but there's nothing behind Baron Corbin enough to have people invested in that match.
No.
It's got to be somebody big because they're not going to send Kurt Angle off without having that big match.
Sorry, Jan. The only one I could see would be The Undertaker, but he's not in the best of graces with the company right now.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cena getting his 17th world title before he retires? We talked about that. That's what we were talking about. If they wait until Ric Flair dies, that motherfucker's going to live till he's 100. So it'll be another 38 years before we see that match. By that time, John Cena will be 78 years old. So that ain't happening.
You know, I sit there and I wouldn't put past WWE to do that.
Oh my God, John Cena come out with his fucking walking cane.
Cena's gonna have to ride Bumblebee to the damn ring. Jeez.
He beats Roman Reigns.
Oh, Ryan, that is a good scenario. Really good scenario.
Well, okay, so Monday night, he's announcing his opponent for WrestleMania. For WrestleMania. So it's not going to be an open challenge. I mean, it's a great idea.
That would have been the perfect end to it, though.
You know what I see happening? I see John Cena being at WrestleMania, being at Raw on Monday.
And coming out.
Answering his just like he did, and he's going to say, "Who wants to fight me?"
And he's going to come out and say, "My name's John Cena," and then Kurt's going to be like, "Why do you think you can face me?" Ruthless aggression.
And they're gonna play on that.
That's exactly what Ryan just said.
That I could see, but it wouldn't be at WrestleMania. It's actually going to happen on Raw.
On Raw this Monday.
Are
you hungry or what?
But I do like what Ryan said.
Okay, if they go back to that old promo, can we please get the old Doctor of Thugonomics?
No, just John Cena. Just John Cena.
If we're going to do that, then have John Cena go all the way back to what he was when he first showed up.
The prototype.
Yeah, I don't want to see him dressed.
Short pants and the fucking kick pads.
I don't want to see him dressed as a prototype, and I don't want to even see him be like the original John Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics anymore. Because let's face it, John Cena looks like a fucking dad right now. Like he looks like a beefed up dad.
Right.
But I don't want to see that. But it would make sense for him to come out and be like, you know, what gives you the right to be out here? Ruthless aggression, blah blah blah.
Right.
That'd be great.
The last bit of news that I have is it broke earlier today. Sami Zayn will be at Raw.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's why I said I don't think you're going to get to feud with Kevin Owens.
Oh, I don't like that because they were setting up a feud between those two so freaking well last time.
Yeah, well, I mean they did, but then they both got hurt, so they have to start over. They have to start over. Now, that's not to say that they won't end up on the same show
eventually
come October.
But I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't put them back on the same show, because when you have a feud between Sami and Kevin, they're such great friends in real life that they put it all in the ring. Like, they go hard when they fight each other.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, we saw that all the way back in NXT when Kevin Owens pop-up powerbombed freaking Sami Zayn into the side of the ring apron.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're trying to prevent those two from getting hurt anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, I think they're going to do it again. Ultimately, I think at WrestleMania 36, they might have a feud for the main title.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. That would be a great culmination of their story.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately, look, that's what WrestleMania is. That's what I remember WrestleMania being, was a culmination of a storyline that lasted a year Or
Do you guys-
look at the storyline between
Austin and The Rock.
well, Austin and The Rock. You could also Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. That story lasted for like 6 freaking months.
Hogan and
Um,
Savage.
Huh?
Do you guys-
Hogan and Savage.
Hogan, that lasted a whole year.
mhm.
Austin
guys
and Vince,
think-
that lasted 2 years.
What?
Do you guys
Austin and
think that
Vince.
That
that
lasted
there-
3 years. Yes, you're right. But that
Do you
didn't
guys-
culminate at WrestleMania. Go
do
ahead.
you guys think that there's a chance that that might happen at SummerSlam since SummerSlam is in Toronto?
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Because I
we'll
mean,
see.
Sammy and Kevin are both from Canada.
Right.
It could be. It could be. We'll see. I don't know. I think I'd much rather have it at WrestleMania. That's me. Because that's what WrestleMania is for.
Yeah, but I mean, SummerSlam's another like SummerSlam's like the mini version of WrestleMania, so like you have to have big matches for that too.
It's true. It's true. We talked about the Ronda Rousey thing. She got fined. She slapped a damn referee. That's why she's getting fined.
That fine with the quotation.
Whatever. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add? And then I'll turn it back over to Bobbit so he can end the show.
Chelsea Green got injured at taping. I think she hurt her wrist.
Oh, did she? Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
She had to have
Sucks to be
surgery on
her.
her wrist.
Yeah.
She's another one. She's pretty good. I don't know if anybody has ever seen her wrestle before. She's actually not too bad.
She was in All In last year with the women's match at All In, and it was a good match.
Yeah, you should watch her in a singles match. She's way better. She is. She's way better. Other than that, I don't have anything. Anybody else? Any final thoughts?
No, tonight's been a pretty good night for me.
All right, Bobbit. Well, turning it back over to you.
With that being said, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Yeah, have a good night. Thanks for
joining us tonight,
and peace on.
Peace on.
Yeah.
Peace on you.
Silly.
Peace on you, motherfucker.
May peace be with you. Peace or piss. I don't know.